Hello and welcome to the Real Positive Girl podcast. My name is Sabrina. Thank you so much for listening, downloading, sharing the show. I truly appreciate it. I just love how people are continuing to love and enjoy the show. And if you do love and enjoy the show, and if you are able to leave a 5-star review or to just leave some sort of uplifting comment or interesting description of the show from your point of view on whatever podcast platform you listen to the show, I would greatly appreciate it. That would just help bring more people into listening to the show and give me the opportunity to help even more people. So if you were able to do that, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you wanted to come by and just chat with me and connect with me on Instagram, I am at Sabrina Joy Perozzo, or you're welcome to send me an email as well. All of that information is in the description box, along with all the notes for the show. But again, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you downloading and sharing the show. So let's get right into the episode. Thanks so much, guys. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Real Positive Girl podcast with me, Sabrina. Happy Monday to you all. I hope that you're having a fantastic day today. Ready for a new weekend, ready for a new month. It's fun. I actually really enjoy new months, the top of months, and new weeks. So having it together, that is fantastic. It just feels like you can just refresh everything all at once. So again, happy Monday. This week, our topic is going to be in a better mood. I want to talk to you guys all about, how moods affect us, how we can better our moods, and just some other tips and insights that could help you be more aware of your mood and why it might be more important than you think. And today, Monday, we are going to specifically talk about why your mood matters. But before we jump into that, as always, I want to talk about the 5-minute reset, which is to reset, reboot, restart your day right then and there. You can draw a line in the sand and allow yourself to just have a fresh start, very similar to the top of a month, the top of a week, even the top of a year, where you can just let anything and everything that has happened to you previously, just let it go. You're not going to let it to continue to drag onto you, be a burden to you, cause you trouble, ruin your day, or anything like that. Even if it's like so late at night and you're like, I've just let this day kind of cling to me long enough, just reset. All you need is at least 5 minutes to be by yourself, and you can take a break from any issues or burdens that are dragging you down or causing you issues. You can also spend some time coming up with any resolutions for problems or issues that you're dealing with, whether alone or with others. And I always encourage everyone to come up with a gratitude list of at least 4 things, big, small, or medium size. You can be literally grateful for anything and everything. Maybe you're grateful that something in your house broke, and as costly as that can be, you are grateful because you were able to replace it, and maybe it's something you've been needing to replace and it forced you to do that, and things are just going to be better. Maybe you're grateful that you were able to spend more time with your furry friends, like if you have a cat or a dog or whatever pet you may have. You're grateful that you're able to spend some more time with them. Maybe you're grateful that you were able to get some extra work done and you feel accomplished and ahead of the game, and especially if you previously were feeling behind, that's something to be grateful for. Or maybe you are grateful that you finally took some time to yourself to heal, to feel better, to get healthy, whatever it is that you feel was, kind of keeping you low energy and making your body not feel well. We all need to take the time to give ourselves rest when we need it, and we need to listen to our bodies because they will be able to tell us when we need it. So these are all things you can be grateful for. You can be grateful for literally anything and everything. The list is never ending. And last but not least, before you end your 5-minute reset, make sure that you're feeling at least neutral, if not positive, about the rest of your day, because focusing more on the positives and the blessings in your life will help you get through those negative times that you may or may not be experiencing. And just know that it just makes it easier to get through your everyday life by focusing more on the positives and the blessings. You don't have to do it all the time, not even 80%. You just need to do it more often so that you're not dragging yourself down on purpose. But I do hope that you're having a wonderful day on this Monday. Again, like I said at the top of the show, we are talking about be in a better mood. this week. And today, Monday, we are talking about why your mood matters. And this week, I want to talk about how to be in a better mood. And I know this might sound a little light-handed for this podcast, or maybe not a topic that could be deep enough, but I assure you this will be beneficial to you. I promise. And, I like to talk about things that are so deep and so needed to be talked about, right? Things that are really pressing your buttons or causing you issues and stress in your life. If we talk about anger or anxiety or, how to accept others and how to, know that you're actually growing and becoming your best self in your life. But then there are other things about talking about your mood that I know that not a lot of people really focus on. And you might just think it's just this little thing that is super minor in your life, but I want to bring it to the forefront because it's important, and I believe that I want to be able to talk about all the things, whether it's, highlighted in mainstream media or it's not. So our moods can go up and down all the time, some more than others. I am a part of the some where my moods definitely swing. My mood swings used to be a lot worse in the past, I will say, but I have worked hard to not let my emotions and moods take control of me and determine how I live out my days. And because I don't think that's really the best plan for anyone. And you may not even realize that that is what is happening to you. That you are letting your moods determine how you live out your day and you are letting them just take control of you. And I'm here to tell you that you don't want to do that because your emotions and your feelings and the decisions that you make in your day will just kind of run away with you if you put possibly some irrational mood and feelings in charge. So today I want to specifically talk about why managing our moods is super important and can be beneficial to us and others. Your mood is one of the single most important things that will dictate how you experience your day. It really will, because if you wake up happy, you feel like you're going to experience your day really well. If you wake up sad, depressed, stressed, I feel like one of the worst things to wake up is to wake up and be either really sad or really stressed already. And you haven't even touched your feet out of the bed yet. You're just lying there. You wake up and you're like, oh my goodness, how can I already be feeling this way, right? So it is so important and it will dictate how you experience your day. The mood you choose or let linger will determine if you believe your day was a success, a good one, productive, forgettable, or something you fear will follow you into the next day. And I feel like that's why I talk about the 5-minute reset so much, because you don't want these moods, feelings, experiences following you into the rest of your day, let alone the next day, and continuing to torture you and nag you and bring you down because you didn't realize that you had to shake it or you had to change it, you had to shift it. So that's another reason why I find it's very important that we talk about moods, because a lot of times people just don't even think about that, which is fine, totally fine. But it's important to bring it to the forefront now. But yeah, the mood and it's the mood that you choose. A lot of people will feel as if the mood just comes on them and they have no control, but that's actually not correct at all. You choose it, and whether you feel like you are or not, you just need to, practice more self-awareness and understanding who you are and how you make that choice. Even if it feels super subconsciously, you are making that choice. And I feel like it has a lot to do with what is on your mind, what are you constantly thinking about, and how you anticipate things going, like in your day and in the days to come. Also, the people that you spend your time with, and the activities that you do involve yourself in. A lot of it plays into it so much. But yeah, your mood matters because it will be in charge of what you accomplish too. We all know that when we are grumpy, frustrated, sad, angry, or possibly another negative emotion, whatever it may be for you, your ability to get things done diminishes more and more as the day goes on. Because if you wake up with that negative attitude and mood and feeling and you decide not to change it, you're just like, oh, because I honestly feel like there are people in the world, which is fine, this is how you are. It's just more of like, hopefully this is like an awakening experience for you to understand that you probably should work on changing it. But I feel like there are people in the world that just wake up and, whatever mood comes out of them, that is the mood that they are going to have for the whole day, or at least for a majority of the day, because they don't understand that they get a choice. You can wake up sad and depressed or anxious, but you can change your mind right then. You're like, okay, I may be stressed about a meeting that I have today at work, or, some sort of thing you have to take your kid to, or maybe a test at school, or some sort of problem that you kind of like left behind the day before. Like maybe you're having car trouble and now you have to figure that out, and you feel very, what's the word I want to use? You feel very alone in trying to figure like big problems out. I get it. But you can still shift your mood. You can still be like, okay, but I'm going to try to be positive. I'm going to, be strong about this. I am going to decide to be happy and grateful for the things that are going well in my life, and have a positive mood, uplifting mood, and know that I will be able to get through this, whatever it is. And it's really that simple. And I understand it sounds simple, but it is hard. And it is hard, especially if you've already gotten into the habit of letting your emotions dictate how your day is going to go. It will take a little bit of time to readjust those things. But yeah, your ability to get things done diminishes more and more as the day goes on if you do not make that shift. And, we shouldn't want to live our lives that allow our moods to hold us captive. That should not be a thing. That should not be something that we just allow. And again, you may not even realize that that is what you're doing, and that's fine. Hopefully this is coming to light to you. Honestly, you don't want to live a life with anything holding you captive. And we all know that when that happens, this might be a real big truth bomb that you're not expecting, but we all know when that happens, it's a choice we are making to let those things do that, whether we realize it or not. Again, it's like when I tell you that you are able to choose your mood despite whichever one you wake up with, you have the power and the right to choose that. So if you're letting your mood hold you captive and you're blaming your mood for the reason why you do certain things or treat people a certain way or get things accomplished or not, you're really playing more into a victim mentality, but also you are letting your mood hold you captive. But it's also like other attitudes or situations that you're experiencing that are negative or kind of like causing you to feel trapped, or like you don't know what to do next. You are just letting these things hold you captive because you might be living in the fear and the anxiety of not knowing what to do next or how to go about it. But I'm here to tell you that by practicing your confidence and your strength inside in your mind, if you decide to muster all of that up and take a step forward and tell yourself, no, I'm just going to push through and be as positive as I can, then you will be able to get free from that prison of whatever mood and feeling it was that was holding you back. So, but yeah, it's a choice. It is a choice. It's a hard choice to make sometimes because it's so much easier to just let our moods control us, because then we feel like we are not at fault. You're like, oh no, it was just my bad mood. But that's not really going to get you out of any sort of like trouble or anything, because your mood is your mood. It's not like the mood that Jim or John put on you. It's your mood. But if we at least start with our moods in knowing that we can make those choices, it will be a good start to also shifting our mindsets and making beneficial changes in our lives. And I want you to know that when I speak about being in a better mood or shifting your mood to something more uplifting, I'm not trying to convince you that it needs to be uplifted all the time. Like, definitely not. As you know, I talk about feeling your emotions through and through often, and no one should be pretending how they feel. Like, pretending how you feel, you're living a lie. You are just hiding behind that mask that a lot of us put on so that we can avoid talking to people how we feel, or even really acknowledging and feeling how we feel and going through. And it's just much easier to go through the motions because they don't really require that much of us. It's kind of like being a puppet. And the longer you do that, the easier it is. And then you don't have to actually like do any emotional work, which I know a lot of people feel like is the better choice, but honestly, it's not. Um, but there is something to be said about not getting stuck in those moods that are really just pits that allow us to stew in our negativity. You know, we need to not do that. It really is a pit. Think about it. Think about like when you get stuck in those negative moods and all you want to do is complain and talk about how bad things are and how things are not going the way that you wanted or the way that you anticipated or in a positive way at all. You're just sitting in a pit. And we are in charge of our own feelings, emotions, moods, decisions, so many things. So many things. And it sounds overwhelming when you start to list those things out, like truly. But it's important that you know you are in control of those things. I just have to, I just have to accept the responsibility. And when I say I mean you. You know, you should say this to yourself. Be like, I just have to accept the responsibility, ditch the victim mentality, and move forward as best I can with the knowledge I currently have. And I wanted to make sure that I added in moving forward as best you can with the knowledge you currently have, because a lot of people will pull back into the perfectionist, people pleasing kind of personality and be like, well, I'm not ready to do it because I haven't healed this, that, or the other, or I haven't done enough recovery work, or whatever it is, or haven't made enough changes in my life that I don't think I can actually, do this. But it doesn't take any of that for you to accept responsibility for the choices and decisions and moods that you have. It doesn't take that to ditch the victim mentality, except for actually acknowledging that it is victim mentality that you're living in, and to move forward as best you can with the knowledge that you have. That is just doing your best, honestly, and living your best life and becoming your best self because you're doing what you can with what you have right now, as opposed to procrastinating and putting it off, which never really helps anyone ever. Ever, ever, ever. And that's coming from someone that is a procrastinator to the max. So since this was just a big overview of what I want to talk about this week, I don't have any listed tips for you. Generally that's how it goes. But I do want to close out this episode by briefly speaking about what the rest of the episodes this week will entail. So you have an idea, and I always encourage everyone to listen to all the episodes, but maybe there is one that would, interest you more than another. So that is fine. So tomorrow, Tuesday, we will be speaking on how to manage your mood, how to manage your mood physically, activities like working out, cleaning, organizing, walking, stretching, dancing, and a few others are great ways to shift your mood using your body. On Wednesday, we will be speaking on how to manage your mood emotionally. So this would be things like meditation, nap time. I love nap time. Reading or speaking with someone about how you feel. These are all ideas that will help, that can be done without much physical activity, which can be helpful if that's not an option. Like if you can't get outside, or you don't have that much room, or you are banished to your bedroom or your dorm room or wherever it is, or maybe you have like some sort of injury that would prevent you from doing a lot of the other things I mentioned for physically. On Thursday, we will be speaking about who you spend your time with greatly affects how you act, which also includes your mood. It really does. It's the whole like birds of a feather flock together kind of situation. And to wrap it all up, on Friday, we will be speaking about how you shouldn't expect to be positive all the time despite being on top of your mood, which I, lightly alluded to, that you do not have to have an uplifting mood all the time. Even in my 5-minute reset, when I'm talking about focusing in on the positives and the blessings, I try to always make a point to let you know you don't even have to do that 100% of the time, not even 80%. It's just a matter of doing it more often than not, and understanding that you have the ability to make a change at any moment. But that is all for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast again with me, Sabrina. I encourage you to check the description box for notes for the show, where to find me on Instagram, which is at Sabrina Joy Perozo, or you're welcome to send me an email at realpositivegirlpodcast@gmail.com with any questions, comments, concerns, prayer requests, feedback, topic suggestions, or just to say hey, hi, and hello to me. Just a quick reminder, I need questions so that sometime this month I can do a week of listener questions to answer them and give you advice on things that you would want. Again, I will not put your name in the show. It is completely anonymous. Also, come and visit me on Instagram. Get to know me, follow me. I want to meet you guys and talk to you guys and create that community dynamic. And I am randomly sending people Starbucks cards when you do come and connect with me, because I appreciate you taking the time to do that and following me and keeping up with my everyday life, motivation, updates on the podcast, all the things. So, well, that's all I have for today, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you guys so much. You are amazing. And until tomorrow, and until next time, have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.